Judicial Services and she's qualified for interview. Uh, because of just this pandemic, everything has been at halt, and we believe that things will get better soon. It's a pleasure to have you on our webinar, ma'am.
Same here.
Okay, introducing our today's expert, Vrinda Singh is an advocate by profession. She did her graduation from Jindal Global Law School University, and later she appeared for Delhi Judicial Services. Before getting into question and answer session regarding the strategies, please tell something about yourself, ma'am. Why you decided to choose law and judicial services as your career?
So, hi everybody. I decided to join law because it was basically an elimination strategy that I adopted. So I didn't want to do science. So, and I was a commerce student and I didn't want to do commerce also further. And law was sort of in trend at that time. But eventually when I got into law school, I started liking it. So that's how I started doing law. And judiciary was not my initial plan. So I wanted to try out all the options that I have, which is why, like all the law students, I also did a lot of internships. And even after graduation, I worked a little bit. And then I realized that probably let's just try giving judiciary exam also. And the journey in preparation of the judiciary exam is itself a very empowering process. I mean, you get to learn all sorts of laws in detail. So that also was a very enjoyable process. And then I'm here now.
Right. Ma'am, apart from Delhi judiciary examination, like, have you appeared for other state judiciary as well so far?
I've given 2 exams. Before Delhi Judiciary, I gave MP Judiciary Mains. And before that, I gave UP Judiciary. I couldn't clear the preliminary stage then. So that.
Okay. So let's talk about a bit about the strategies and everything. Ma'am, we have seen this thing that Delhi Judicial Services examination, when we talk about it, so it's having a very hue and cry in terms of cracking it, because it seems a bit like hard when you start preparing, because there is a lot of GK, current affairs, language part. Also, law is also not that much, which is very static, because they ask very practical questions, right, ma'am? So let's start with a very basic stage, that is of preliminary examination. Just tell, like, how you prepared for the preliminary examination. What was the question which you faced during the preliminary examination, and how one should start with the preparation?
So I think for preliminary stage, the primary strategy that everybody should have is to solve questions. There's nothing else that you can do apart from solving questions while preparing for preliminary exam. Because even if you read the sections again and again, human mind is prone to forgetting things. So unless you question your mind, that is by solving questions, it will be very difficult to retain all that information. And especially in DJS, they ask questions from anywhere. I mean, there's no specific part of the barrack that they will be asking questions from. So you don't know anything from where the questions will be asked. So just try solving as many questions as you can. That's the only strategy that one can adopt for preliminary exams.
Ma'am, for the preliminary, like, how you refer to the BEAR Act, like what approach you had when you were preparing for Delhi Judicial Services, so how you go about reading the BEAR Act?
BEAR Act, I mean, so you have firstly, I think, analyze past year papers, then try to understand which portion is important and which portion is less important. Say, for example, if we take CRPC, in CRPC, primarily questions are asked from investigation chapter, that is our FIR and 167, 173. So those are the main sections. So you cannot leave any, even a small part of those sections. Other than that, also, if you're preparing for exam like DJS, you cannot leave BEAR Act as such. So if you have to have a strategy, then at your first stage, prepare those parts which are primary, as in the one that we talked about in CRPC 154, 173, etc. Then move on to a little slightly less important or slightly less main topics. So go step by step, because the bare acts are huge and you cannot try to remember everything at the same time. So there has to be levels to it.
Right. So basically, along with the preparation, you need to solve the last past year papers. That's very important.
Yes, yes.
Ma'am, so like in today's trend, what we are watching that when we start with the preparation, so what aspirants nowadays doing that, what they do that they start with the means preparation also, because that is also needed, because after preliminary you don't get much of time, and that also depends. So what used to be your strategy? How you used to prepare for means answer writing?
So for me, the case was a little different. When I started appearing for these exams, a lot of exams were happening around that time. So in around 2018, when I graduated, all states were releasing their papers. So instead of practicing different papers, I got to practice by giving examinations. So that happened with me, but otherwise I think everybody have their own strategy to go about it, and different methods suit different people, so there's no one way to go about it. But definitely you'll have to learn for mains beforehand, because then once you clear the preliminary stage, there's very less time to prepare for mains if you start then only. So it's better that you prepare in advance.
Right. So, ma'am, like, what used to be your strategies about like making notes? Because that is also very important when you have to prepare. Like, judiciary's syllabus is also very vast. You cannot revise each and everything at that particular moment. So, note making strategies also plays an important role. So, ma'am, what used to be your strategies of making notes?
So I refer to standard textbooks of all the subjects, and from those textbooks, I made my own notes. And depends on how a person can remember. So you can make all those flow charts, and you can do color coordination. Really depends on the person, whatever suits them.
Right, ma'am. So if we talk about remembering the section, right? That's also depends on person to person how they remember. So please share your strategy that how you remember the sections of the barracks, because in preliminaries we have seen that there is a MCQ based on the section numbers also. So how you used to remember the sections?
So again, as I said before, you have to go step by step. So if you pick CRPC, which is a huge bare act, you do the main sections first. Once those main sections are internalized in your brain, then you move on to slightly lesser important sections. So if somebody asks you what 299 of section 299 of CRPC is, even if you don't remember what 299 is, you might remember what 300 is, because that is an important section. So by remembering the main provisions, you then go, okay, this one is one section before that main section. So you have to do those connection and bring out the relations between different sections, and go step by step. I mean, there has to be a lot of repetition, but if you study in levels, and then it will help.
Right. So we are getting some of the comments from the aspirants, and the people are asking that what sort of reliable sources you referred. As you said that you for note making you referred some of the standard books, right? So could you please name some of the standard books which you referred for Delhi Judicial Services?
For example, IPC, KD Gore, and for constitution, you can refer to VN Shukla, or MP Jain is also, I think, a textbook. I refer to VN Shukla. Then CPC, Kelkar. All those textbooks that you study in your law school, those are the main ones. I mean, I won't suggest going for guides. Instead of taking help from guides, just do a long, thorough study of those textbooks and make your own notes.
Right. So let's bit talk about the note making process, because that is that is very compulsory. But why I'm asking this question, like me as a judicial aspirant, like if I start with the study, so what I see that, like if I've taken a constitution, right? So there is some of the articles which have a long interpretations and long judgments and everything. So for example, let's say Article 14. So when I'll start making note, right? So I'll be having so much to write in it, but when it comes to answer writing during the mains examination, that will be very different. You are understanding? So like making note and answer writing, it's like somehow they need to correlate, because you cannot write each and everything in note making. So ma'am, just tell a bit about the strategy or the art of note making for the examination point of view.
Yes. So see, when you're making your notes, you will have to make your notes according to the examination that you want to give. If you're preparing for judiciary, you cannot make notes the in the way that you would make in your law school. So there has to be a different technique. Now for that, you can probably you can refer to past year questions and analyze the trend in which the questions come. So if you're making notes for constitution and a question comes on article 14. Now article 14 has a lot of subparts to it, and the question might not be very generic. It might refer to a particular subpart. So and as law students, we already know main portions of article 14, right? So you have to do that calculation as to what will be important from exams point of view. Say for example, you have to list certain case laws. So you need not, and your textbook will have a lot of case laws, especially in constitution. So you don't need, of course, you don't need to make note for each and every single case law that is mentioned in your textbook. You can pick say 2 or 3 that you can also mention in your examination, because even when you're writing an answer in the examination, you cannot refer all the case laws, and you cannot even remember all the case laws. So just pick 2, put them in your notes, and then put the same case laws in your answer. And you have to strategize it. I mean, you cannot copy the book in your notes. That's not the point of note making. It has to be short and crisp.
Right. So there's this question, like one participant wanted to ask that how do we link different bare acts while studying and making notes? Because bare act is also plays a very important role when it comes to answer writing and everything. So
Yes.
yeah. So how to make notes from the bare act also?
So what I did was, I don't make notes separately from the bare act. I refer to the bare act, and all my notes are there jotted down in the bare act itself, which are points from the bare act. Because even if you have separate notes, then you will have to refer back and forth from your notes to the bare act to the notes, which will be a difficult process. And ultimately, you'll be like, okay, let's just read our notes in the notebook and not refer to the bare act. So it's also, while preparing for any competitive examination for that matter, it's important to have a short amount of notes. You cannot have a lot of material. So I would suggest, if you want to make notes for the bare act, just make your points in the bare act itself. I mean, it will become a little messy, but it will be helpful.
Right. So, ma'am, like we are discussing about the making notes and everything. Also, in mains writing in Delhi Judiciary, there is a portion, a huge portion, I would say, regarding GK, right? General
Yes.
knowledge part. And that also comes in preliminary as well as in the mains writing, where you actually need to write all the current affairs and the journal knowledge part in the paper itself. So how you prepared for the GK part, and how like you had this practice of like writing during the mains, like how you practiced?
So in DJS, if you talk about specifically, they have very short questions asked from GK. And yeah, so there are multiple sections. One asks you to write a short note on a recent topic. Then there are types of questions which require you to answer in one word. the answers the questions which ask you to answer in one word, they are a little tricky, and the thing is that you won't possibly know all of them, because GK is a very, very vast subject. And so I was also not probably not very well prepared for GK. But my one thing that I realized was that when you're preparing for GK, don't confuse it with the GK that you prepare for civil services exams. So in civil services exams, GK is the main portion. So you have to go into international relations, you have to go into defense, technology, everything. When you're preparing for judicial services exams, especially DJS, they don't go so thoroughly into all aspects of current affairs. So you will have to limit yourself to national topics, and more particularly to topics which are related to law. So if there is a bill that has been passed, for example, in 2019, personal law amendment bill was passed, which removed leprosy from the ground of divorce under Section 13 of Hindu Marriage Act. That will be more important to you from judicial DJS perspective than, say, for example, a deal that has happened between India and Australia. So you have to also categorize your current affairs and realize what is important from that particular exam's point of view.
Right. Yeah. So the thing which you discussed, and that's very important to note, that preparation, like judiciary and the UPSC preparations, is different when it comes to journal knowledge. Of course, we need not to cover each and everything. So, ma'am, in this, like, I wanted to ask that, like, do you actually used to write answers beforehand, or you just have to study and just go there in the examination hall and you just wrote the answer? And do you had to, like, you prepared notes, some of the notes you prepared for GK priorly? Yes, ma'am.
Yes. So, yes, for GK, I had my own register, and I would read the newspaper and make, like, only for the essay type of questions. For them, I would make short notes.
Right. So you basically prepared your notes like before going into the examination hall, and that was also useful, ma'am.
Yes.
So yes, as in the law itself, like we are talking about means answer writing. So in DJs there is civil law 1, civil law 2, and criminal part. Like, so in the DJs there is a procedural laws, right? CRPC, CPC, and evidences. And we have seen that CPC, CRPC in itself are very sort of vast subjects. And so just tell us like how you prepared for those particular subjects. I mean, how you prepared for the procedural laws. And also what was your strategies of interlinking between the sections?
Again, as I said before, because these are vast subjects, you have to go step by step. I mean, I think a lot of people, the mistake that they commit is they try to remember everything in one go, which doesn't happen. I mean, there's a limit to how much your brain can retain. So you have to go step by step, categorize the BEAR Act, try to understand what is more important, what is less important, do the more important part first, then come to the less important. Keep rereading the BEAR Act again and again.
Right. So repeated revision will definitely help, like for preparing for the examination. Also, ma'am, we talked about the GK part. So what sort of material you referred for journal knowledge preparation? People are asking this question. Yeah.
So journal knowledge for DJS. For DJS, you can only refer to any standard newspaper, Indian Express, Hindu. That will help. Even in fact, if Hindu feels a lot of information in the newspaper, you can also refer to Indian Express, and that will do. Because DJS doesn't have a lot of detailed GK. They have major topics. For example, in the exam that I gave, a question was asked on Greta Thunberg. She was very popular around that time. So if you refer to news, if you are the person who would read news otherwise also, then you won't find it very difficult. The GK and DJS. I mean, it's a matter of speed rather than topics.
Hmm. Right. Like accordingly, you need to cover in the examination basically. Like you need to complete the exam. Like you should
Yes.
priorly. Okay. So, ma'am, like as we are talking about the mains writing, a portion of language. So, did you prepared it for like you prepared for that language part separately, or just it was already at your command? Because English is also a very important, and in DJs we have seen there's a negative marking in mains writing. Also, they cut your mark over the grammar and everything. So, what was your strategy for preparing the language paper?
So I didn't do any separate preparation for the language part. Uh, yeah, there's a Pressy writing question. I think I attempted one just before the examination, but there was no separate preparation.
Okay. Yes, ma'am. So we are getting one question. Like as we have already discussed this thing, but participant wanted to ask this in a brief, like, and this question is asked by Pratitva, and he's asking that you please share your strategy of means answer writing in terms of that what should be the possible pattern which one could follow up, because as we have seen that in a particular section or particular provision there are a lot of landmark cases. So how much landmark cases one need to put, what should be the structure of answer writing? So could you please tell us something about that?
So structure should be, if it's a fact-based question, then you have to look for what law is applicable on it, and then you have to analyze the fact situation with respect to that law. And if you can relate it to any other provisions or any other law, then you have to put that also in. Uh, Basically, anything and everything that you can remember, you have to put in the answer. But then there is a limit to how much you can remember. And if you try to remember everything, then it might end up in a blunder. So the question that you asked with respect to a case law, if you can remember 3, 4, the more the better. But because you will not be able to remember that many case law, and because we have time restraints, it's better to limit yourself. So remember, just memorize 3 case laws or 2 case laws per topic. And as soon as you realize that a question for this particular topic has been asked, recall those case laws and write them. So there's no particular number, but because you have to manage the speed, limit yourself.
Right. So the structure, yeah, there could be a structure that one can follow up, which Brinda ma'am has already told us. So ma'am, you talked about the fact-based questions which are there, but in DJs there are also a practical-based questions, which also plays a very important role in terms of answer writing and everything. So ma'am, please told
By
us.
fact-based question, I meant practical questions.
Okay. So ma'am, yeah, just told us like people really have like they really face this issue of solving all these practical questions. So just tell that from where you prepared for all these practical questions. Also the reliable source if you can refer for means answer writing practice.
I think when you're solving practical questions, because they are very long questions, even if you're not getting a lot of questions to solve, to practice, I mean, it's better to practice by solving questions. What is important is that you are in the habit of reading. So read anything and everything that you get. Read long articles, read books, read any long form article that has been written. So once you get in the habit of reading, your reading speed will increase, and in that way the question that will appear will seem short to you, and that is how your speed will increase, right? And that is the main thing that you need, because once your reading speed is good, you will be good at analyzing that question also, and then your answer will automatically come out. So that is the thing. And again, what was the main thing that you were asking?
I was just asking the reliable sources. Like, did you referred any like book or something for practical sort of based questions?
Um, no, there was no book. I think once I cleared the before clearing my preliminary exam, I hadn't practiced mains questions a lot. I told you that before, because the only practice that I got was by giving the MP mains. So that happened. But after my prelims exam, how many ever days I had, I solved all the past year papers. So that was the only practice that I got. I couldn't find any book actually.
Right. So yeah, also like to telling it an additional thing, like I had a word with one judicial officer. So the question which we get in DJ's practical questions, so they mostly refer to the case laws, the leading case laws which we get. So from there they put the facts of the case and they put that in a practical situation to us. So basically, case laws plays an important role also. So ma'am, right. So in mains writing, there is a section of judgment writing also. So please tell us like how you prepare for the judgment writing.
In DJs, they don't ask judgment writing. There are other states which ask judgment writing. So DJs doesn't have judgment writing.
Okay. Like so there is no sort of thing like you have to draft a plaint or something like that.
No, no, no. DJs doesn't have that.
Okay. So like participants were asking about the judgment writing. So like we have discussed at length about the mains answer writing and everything. So ma'am, just tell us like once. Yes. Like when we write answer for the practical questions, right, ma'am? So is there any different structure in comparison to normal questions which they ask?
So for theory-based question, your structure usually is going from general topics to the specific topics, right? And in practical questions, because there is a particular fact scenario that you have to analyze, you put the law in crisp and only the specific part of the law, rather than just generally also writing about the subject. Limit your words in practical writing questions and write the law, then again analyze the fact situation with respect to that law, and then write the conclusion.
Right. So, ma'am, when we talk about the case laws, right? In that, like, it's humanly impossible to write each and every case citation. So, like, what should be the strategy and what should be the ideal way of writing the case laws? Because many a times we don't remember either of the parties, right? And if we know, like parties, we don't know the citation. So, what can be the possible way we can cite the case law?
So you will have to remember which case is important and which case is not. If the case is not important, then it's okay if even if you don't remember the case name or citation. So something like a Kesavananda Bharti case, you cannot forget. I mean, that's not allowed to forget the name of Kesavananda Bharti case. But if there is a case on, say, dowry death, and you don't remember the case, then it's okay. So just analyze what is important and what is not, and remember accordingly.
Right. So we are getting a lot of questions from the participants. So I'll ask my participants, they can directly ask question from our expert. So I can unmute them. Please raise your hand if you have any practical question which you are facing while preparing for the DGS examination. Okay, ma'am, so there's this question that is coming that when to start with the judiciary preparation basically, and because like we have seen that we have so many participants who wanted to prepare for judiciary examination from the third year. They start with the preparation from third year and fourth year. So, what can be the ideal or a suggestive advice, your advice to the participants when they can start
Um,
preparation?
so because see, the nature of the exam is very uncertain. You don't know when it's going to come. So if you start, according to me, I mean, people have different ways of thinking about it, but according to me, because the nature of the exam is uncertain and you start preparing from your third year, you become very hopeful. And once you graduate and the exam doesn't show up, say for example 1 or 2 years, there are chances that you might lose the motivation. So that is important. You should not lose the motivation for the exam. So prepare only when you decide that this is the only thing that you want to do. And so for example, a lot of my friends, what have happened with them is they started preparing very early, and the exam didn't come once they graduated, and they lost all hopes, and they joined the practice. And once you join practice, it's become difficult to prepare. So try everything that you can, analyze all your options. If you want to litigate for a while, litigate for a while, and only when you're fully ready to give the examination, then give your full to it, and decide that you want to give the examination. So
Right.
there's no particular fixed time that you should prepare now or then.
Right. Okay. There's no all. It all depends on individual, right? When they can
Yes,
start.
definitely.
Hmm. So we have with us Kajal. She wanted to ask question. Yes, Kajal, please ask your question.
Ma'am, as landmark judgments are available in the textbook, but what about recent case law? On which sources we can rely for the recent case laws?
There are a lot of, so you have to use internet to your use, and there are a lot of websites. You can refer to, say, Bar and Bench, you can refer to Live Law, you can refer to, there's this website called Latest Judgment. They categorize all the judgments monthly and daily. So any online resource you can refer, but just be consistent with that particular resource. Don't shift between 2 or 3.
Thank you, Kajal. Neeru wanted to ask question.
Hello, good afternoon, ma'am. Ma'am, my question is that, as you said now only, that LiveLaw is a huge platform in which we can get recent judgments. But my question is that there are many judgments which comes daily on LiveLaw. It daily used to pump after 1.5 hour and half hour. So what are the relevant judgments which we can jot down in our answer writing, and what to read, what not to read? Can you please tell? Because it's when we read these type of judgments, it's really a burden on us that when to that if, we can cover our syllabus first, or we cover these judgments first. We read this judgment first, and also we don't know what are the important judgments for the exam prospective. So please tell what to read, what not to read.
So see, the more you read, the better. So I mean, even look at it from the perspective of what will happen when you become a judge. When you become a judge, you'll have to deal with all these cases. So just internalize the fact that you will have to read a lot in future also, and start preparing from that point of view. So the more judge, if you want to give DJS, for example, list down the subjects that come in exam. And if you really want to categorize and pick and choose the judgments on a particular site, then read judgments only on the topic that come in your examination. And say arbitration doesn't come in DJS mains, so don't read judgments from Arbitration and Conciliation Act. That is how you can categorize. But from my point of view, the more you read, the better. So try to read as many cases as you can. That will help you.
Okay, thank you, ma'am. But it's quite difficult to manage the time side by side to cover all the syllabus and read side by side judgments. So
sorry, I can't hear you. Can you repeat your question?
Ma'am, my question is, it's quite difficult to manage the time while reading this judgment, because it takes lots of time. So I can't complete my syllabus side by side. So this is a hurdle in between. So
yeah. Then I think just be consistent. Pick 2 judgments for one day and just read those 2 judgments. You don't need to read everything, but do it consistently, whatever you're doing.
Okay, ma'am. And one more question, that toppers used to say that you should jot down each and every topic with the case law. So it is important to jot down our topic for we can say from it is important that we can learn these cases for every topic, for each and every topic. Like if we take the example of IPC, there are numbers of cases in IPC. So it is.
So again, categorize your cases. It's not important. It's not necessary that you read each and every single case. But even in your law school, you must have prepared for IPC in your law school. It's sort of a similar pattern only. For a particular topic, you don't go on and write all the cases, right, in a particular answer. So a similar way, these exams are a similar pattern in which law school would ask you questions. So pick 2 or 3 cases and then keep rereading them again and again. So you need to remember only a few cases, but just to broaden your knowledge, it's good that you read a lot of cases. Remember too, but read a lot of cases.
Right. Also, yeah, you shared a very good strategy that if arbitration and conciliation is not coming in mains, then you need not to refer the cases per se. Right. Yes. We have another participant, Princey. Please ask your question.
Hello. Am I audible?
Yes, yes.
Yeah.
So I want to ask, ma'am, what strategy did you follow for complete your procedural law? Like I found it difficult to complete my procedural law. I think it is quite lengthy.
So Princey, I've said it before also, these procedures, CPC, CRPC are very lengthy, and don't even try to do it in one go. Don't think that you will finish your entire CPC in a matter of 2 days, 3 days, or even 10 days. CPC, CRPC will take you time. Even the lawyers who practice procedural law in the court, they don't remember all the sections of that law. So it's very normal to forget it, but keep rereading it again and again. Because exam is not coming here anytime soon. So you have a lot of time. Just keep rereading it, and you will remember it.
And
Yes.
what about the general knowledge and current affairs? Like I am preparing for Haryana judiciary, and in prelims, general knowledge, they contain about 20%. There will be 20% marks for Haryana in GK, for GK, sorry. So
Okay.
which magazine or newspaper do you follow for that?
So I've never given Haryana exam, so I don't know
No, for
what
general knowledge only. I'm
paper
asking.
is like. Yes, because again, in different states, GK is different. If you give UP's exam, they have very detailed general knowledge, which is why I'm saying I don't know what pattern Haryana follows. But if you ask for DJS or a very basic GK, then simply follow Indian Express as a newspaper. Read it religiously every day in detail. And if you want to go further into news, then read Hindu. For magazine, I think for DJs, even if you read newspaper every day, that will do. And if you really want to refer to a magazine, monthly magazine, refer to Pratyogita Darpan.
Right.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Princey. So we have another participant, Vishal Vyas. Please ask your question.
Good afternoon, ma'am.
Good afternoon.
Ma'am, I wanted to ask that in GK also there's 2 kind of GK. First is static GK, the one which we study in our Lucent, and the second GK being current affairs. So I wanted to ask, they focus on which kind of GK in mains examination? Do they ask current affairs, or do they ask static GK, the one which we study in the general books?
So in DJs, they don't ask static GK. It's all current affairs.
Even in mains?
Yes, yes.
Okay, so ma'am, if we when we talk about current affairs, so we have to study according to you what timeline? Like we have to study for past 1 year, or
So
according to your experience?
it depends on how frequently the exam comes. So in 2018, DJS has they have released the exam 3 times. Now, if the exam happened in January 2019 and again it happened in October 2019, then you don't need to refer to the current affair that happened before January 2019. So read it from the point of view when the last exam happened, and everything that happened after the last exam, you read everything, all of that.
Okay, ma'am. Okay, ma'am. Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you. We have also. Please, Azim, ask your question.
Hello, ma'am. I wanted to ask how much did preparation for MP Judicials help you in DJS mains, and how are both the exams different and similar?
Rinda, ma'am, yes.
Oh, okay. I'm asking which is the second exam that you talked about, Delhi and
MP Judicials.
MP Judicial.
Okay, so MP is mainly if you talk with respect to questions, MP has all theory based questions. So DJS, say for example, will tell you facts of a case and then will ask you to analyze those facts with respect to a law. MP will simply ask you, say, write about section 300 of IPC. So it's very fact based. It's very theory based, MP's exam. And they ask questions like judgment writing, plaint writing, etc. And with other respect, it's the same almost. Yes. I mean, there's a difference in how the mains questions are asked.
Okay, thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, Azim. Chakshu, please ask your question.
Hi, ma'am. I wanted to ask whether internships actually help in like the practical based questions.
So, see, internships generally as a law student, as a person who has studied law, they will help you in your legal career, because whether it's judiciary exam or whether there's something else that you want to do in future, because they broaden your horizon of how you understand things, how you understand facts with respect to particular law. So I am always pro internships, pro every practical experience that you can get, because law as a subject is very theory based, and when you're writing an exam such as DJS, which has a lot of practical questions, then you need that practical understanding also. So go for internship if you have opportunities and you have time.
Right. So we have another participant, Bhavnik Kalra. Please ask your question.
Hello, good afternoon, ma'am.
Yes, please ask.
My question is that tell me the questions which examiners put in interview time. What are the questions? What kind of questions examiner put in interview time?
Okay, so I have not given the interview yet. I'm awaiting the call for interview. But from what I have heard, the interview in DJS, they don't grill you a lot, because the judges are very kind, and the questions are asked from usual what is happening around in the world, personality based questions, and the questions about GK. So if a new law has been passed, that might be asked. If any major event has happened in current affairs, that might be asked. Basically, they check your understanding of the world as a person.
Okay, ma'am. All the best for your interview session.
Thank you.
Thank you, Bhavnik. We have another participant, Shreya Goswami. Please, Shreya, ask your question.
Hello, ma'am. My question is that I've heard a lot of times that we need to read the latest judgments of Delhi High Court for a better answer writing in DJS mains.
So can you just suggest me, like I'm preparing on my own, I'm not taking any coaching. So how to improve my answer writing and how to improve my judgment reading regarding Delhi High Court?
So you have to choose a consistent source to refer Delhi High Court cases, because see, even on websites like Live Law and Bar and Bench, those cases are not very exhaustively covered. So choose a particular good source. You can also refer to those journals that are released, get copies of those journals. Then the second part comes in is that there are a lot of cases. So how do you categorize them? Again, decide what subjects are there in the exam, what subjects, what cases, what subjects do you want to refer with respect to those cases, and read cases of those particular subjects. Now, it is all a matter of practice. Your reading speed of all those cases will increase with practice. So the first day, if you're able to read only one case, after 1 month, you will improve and you will be able to read 10 cases. So just be consistent at it. It will take time, but your reading speed will increase.
Right. Shivangi Banerjee wanted to ask question. Please, Shivangi, ask a question.
Good afternoon, ma'am. Ma'am, actually, I have a doubt regarding the DGS. I mean, is it necessary that we have to do masters after completing graduation, or we can just prepare for judiciary exam without completing a masters or all that?
No, masters is not compulsory. You can prepare for any judicial exam. Masters is not compulsory.
Oh, thank you, ma'am.
Right. So do we have any other participants like who wanted to ask questions? They can directly ask from the expert. Neeru Sharma wanted to ask question. Neeru, please ask your question. Neeru, ask your question. I am unmuting you.
Hello, ma'am. My question is that Dukis are important for clearing exam for DJ. Dukis are important for DJs. Like everyone says that for short you can rely on Dukis. So like I don't have any book for family law. So can I completely rely on Dukis, or I have to refer to some other relevant books, or if there are some, so please tell.
See, I don't. Dukis are guides, right? Those short books.
Yeah.
I have never referred to Dukis, and I won't suggest that either. But if you want, you can try. But I don't suggest them because, firstly, we don't know who has written it. Every source that you refer to should be reliable. The textbook that are there, they are reliable. And yes, so your sources of your material of study should be reliable. And if you have time, then don't refer to it. If it's really urgent, if you have an exam pending on your head and the notes are not at all prepared, then they should be your last resort. But if you have time, refer to a good standard textbook and not Dukis.
Okay, thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, Neeru. Aniket Goyal wanted to ask question.
Hello, am I audible?
Please ask your question.
Am I audible?
Yes.
Actually, I have a question. If I'm taking the liberty to ask that. Jindal Global is very much famous for like all the fancy stuff like corporate firms, internships, and jobs after that, and abroad LLMs. So, what was your driving factor to choose DJs?
It was not clear. His question was not clear.
Question was like Jindal Global is very much famous for all the fancy stuff like corporate firm internships and jobs and LLMs from abroad. So I want to ask that what was your driving factor to choose for DGS?
Okay, so from JGL, a lot of people go for their masters abroad in corporate law, but I was never interested in corporate law. So again, that option I had eliminated. But just to give it a try, just to see if I might like it, I did try working in a corporate sector for a very short duration of time. But again, I didn't like it. So then judiciary happened.
Right. There was very good question, I believe. Like, yeah, it's Muskan wanted to ask another question. Muskan, please ask your question.
Hello. Hello.
Yes.
Am I audible to you? Ma'am, my name is Rahul Joshi. Well, I have a question, ma'am. I don't know whether this question is relevant to this webinar or not, but it's like about mental fitness. So basically, I just want to know, ma'am, what for preparing any judicial exams, we have to be very determined and very much dedicated towards our goal. So basically, what the sources drive you that into this role and to prepare for this judiciary exam? What were the source and how did you kept yourself how did you motivate yourself?
Basically, you wanted to ask the motivation factor, yeah.
Yes, ma'am. Which is much necessary.
See, patience plays a very important role. I think patience is very important for judicial services examination, because you don't know when the exam is going to happen. Say, for example, right now, we don't know when the next exam is going to come up. And a lot of us are preparing for and looking forward to next exam. So you have to keep patience while preparing for these examinations. Now, with respect to the motivation factor, I think it's very important to know why you want to be a judge or clear judicial services examinations. Once you're clear about your why, then it will be easy to prepare, because you might have different reasons. Money is not definitely a factor because judges are not very well paid, but anything, work satisfaction, whatever drives you there, whatever factor constitutes your why, that will keep you going with respect to motivation. For example, for me, I think elimination works. So I don't want to work on the other side of the bench. I mean, I don't think being a lawyer really suits my profile, and I didn't want to do corporate sector of the law also. And being a judge really satisfies your work requirements. I mean, it satisfies my work requirements. So just know your why, and then it will keep motivating you.
Thank you so much, ma'am.
Thank you. We have almost taken all the relevant question, and there's this the last question I'm taking, and is asked by Khushi Gupta. She's asking that do we have to appear for All India Bar examination before DGS?
No.
Before DGS.
No.
There is no compulsion.
Yes.
Right. So I believe that we have taken all the relevant questions so far. Ankit Goyal wanted to ask question. Please just summarize your question and please ask. You will be the last participant. Yes, Ankit.
Ma'am, I have a second question. My question is, would you suggest to take coaching for judiciary, or should we prepare by ourselves only?
Suggest taking
coaching classes.
Coaching. Okay. See, again, that depends. I mean, you can do without a coaching also, but if you're busy and if you're working also side by side, then you can take a coaching, because they make it easy for you to get access to notes. And if you have if your notes are already prepared, then things become easy for you. So it really depends. If you think you can make notes yourself, then I mean, there's nothing special that coaching provides, but they will shorten your time. They will save your time with respect to preparation of your notes, and they will save your effort also. So ultimately, you have to prepare yourself, but it depends on the amount of help you need.
Right. So, ma'am, thank you so much for the valuable insights which you gave. So I'll ask you for your last advice you wanted to give to our participants. Also, I'll ask my participants to rate this particular webinar from 1 to 10. And those who are asking for coaching and guidance, so we at LawSikho have also started with the judiciary course. So you can go and check that out from our site. And please rate this webinar. Yes, ma'am. Your last advice to the aspirants who are preparing for judicial service.
My advice would be just know why you want to give this examination and keep remembering that one factor again and again, because the preparation itself is not very tough, but people might end up losing motivation, which should not happen, because if you lose motivation, then your preparation will also weaken. So just be at it, be consistent, and you'll clear the exam.
Right. Thank you so much, ma'am, for your time and valuable efforts which you gave. Also, many people got to know the strategy which they can follow up. Also, the reliable sources which ma'am told us. So, thank you everyone for joining this session. Thank you very much, ma'am. So, I'm just signing off, and thank you everyone again. Please stay home, stay safe, and keep preparing about your examination. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.